My wife called me terrible in bed. Her best friend said he's actually amazing. She panicked. Her own words destroyed everything. Update 3. When I returned with the coffee, she was looking at the photos on our mantle. Pictures of my wife and me from various trips and celebrations over the years. You two always seemed really happy, she said, accepting the mug. Seemed, I repeated. That's an interesting choice of words. She sat down on the edge of the couch, clearly struggling with something. Look, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I've been thinking about some things lately. What kind of things? She took a sip of coffee, buying herself time. The other night when we were all here for the party, some of the conversation got pretty intense. There it was. She was bringing up the conversation without me having to fish for it. How so? I asked, settling into the chair across from her. Well, you know how girls can get when they're together. Sometimes they say things they probably shouldn't. She looked up at me then, gauging my reaction. I hope nothing we said was, I don't know, inappropriate. I leaned back, studying her face. She was testing the waters, trying to figure out how much I knew without revealing how much she remembered. Define inappropriate, I said calmly. That made her pause. She was expecting me to either be oblivious or to get defensive. My calm directness threw her off balance. I just mean sometimes people exaggerate when they're trying to be funny, or they say things for shock value that don't really reflect how they actually feel. And you think that's what happened the other night? She set her coffee down and finally looked directly at me. I think some people were being unfair, and I think you deserve better than that. Now we were getting somewhere. Better than what exactly? I pressed. She ran her hands through her hair, clearly frustrated with the situation. Look, I probably shouldn't be here. I probably shouldn't be saying any of this, but it's been bothering me all week. What's been bothering you? The way she talks about you sometimes. It's not right. I kept my expression neutral, but internally I was fascinated. Her best friend was basically confirming everything I had suspected and more. How does she talk about me? Like you're some kind of burden instead of her husband. Like you're holding her back or disappointing her somehow. She shook her head, but that's not what I see when I watch you two together. What do you see? I see a guy who clearly cares about her, who tries to make her happy, who works hard and treats her well. She paused. I see someone who deserves a lot more appreciation than he gets. This was definitely not the conversation I had expected to have today. Why are you telling me this? I asked. She looked down at her hands. Because I've been where she is. I used to be with someone I took for granted. Someone I complained about to my friends instead of actually appreciating. And I lost him because of it. What happened? He got tired of being unappreciated. He got tired of feeling like he wasn't enough. So he found someone who actually valued him. She looked up at me again, and I realized too late that I had let something really good slip away because I was too stupid to recognize it. The conversation was taking an interesting turn. This wasn't just about defending me against her friend's criticisms. This was personal. So you're warning me? I asked. I'm telling you that you have options, she said quietly, and that not everyone sees you the way she apparently does. We sat in silence for a moment, the weight of her words hanging in the air. Can I ask you something? I said finally. Sure. That night when she was sharing her opinions about our relationship, you seemed uncomfortable. Was that because you disagreed with what she was saying? She laughed, but there was no humor in it. Uncomfortable doesn't begin to cover it. I was mortified for you. And honestly, I was embarrassed for her. Why embarrassed for her? Because she has no idea how good she has it. She's so busy focusing on what she thinks is wrong, that she's completely blind to what's right. She met my eyes directly, and what's right is pretty impressive. There it was. The confirmation I had been looking for delivered more directly than I could have hoped. That's quite a compliment, I said. It's quite an honest observation, she replied. I don't give compliments. I don't mean. The tension in the room had shifted completely. What started as an awkward conversation about my wife's inappropriate comments had become something else entirely. So what exactly are you suggesting? I asked. I'm suggesting that you deserve to be with someone who sees your value instead of someone who takes it for granted. Someone who builds you up instead of tearing you down to her friends. She stood up then, smoothing down her dress. I should probably go before she gets back. Probably, I agreed, standing as well. At the door she turned back to me. Just think about what I said, okay? You have more options than you realize. After she left, I sat back down in the living room processing what had just happened. My wife's best friend had essentially told me that I was being undervalued, and that she saw me very differently than my wife did. More than that, she had made it clear that she was interested in showing me exactly how differently she saw me. This changed everything. The dynamic I thought I understood was actually much more complex. While my wife was busy mocking me to her friends, one of those friends was apparently questioning why she was married to someone she clearly didn't appreciate. And that friend was making it known that she would appreciate me very differently. I had to hand it to the situation. Just when I thought I had figured out all the players and their positions, a new variable had entered the game. But this variable might be exactly what I needed to show my wife what real panic looked like. She thought she could disrespect me without consequences. She thought she could take me for granted while I just accepted it quietly. She was about to learn how wrong she was on both counts. The following week brought a series of interactions that made it clear her best friend wasn't just being polite during our conversation. She was making a deliberate play. It started with text messages. Nothing inappropriate on the surface, but definitely more frequent than they had ever been before. Hey, saw this article about that restaurant you mentioned. Thought you might find it interesting.
He's
Heard a song on the radio that reminded me of our conversation. Hope you're doing well. Random question, but do you have any book recommendations? Looking for something new to read. Each message was perfectly innocent if taken individually, but together they painted a clear picture of someone who was thinking about me more than she should be. My wife noticed the increased communication during dinner Wednesday night. She's been texting you a lot lately, she said, glancing at my phone as another message came through. Just random stuff, I replied casually. Book recommendations, restaurant suggestions. Nothing important. She went back to her meal, but I could see the wheels turning. Her friend had never shown this much interest in communicating with me before. Now you can watch the fourth part by pressing share and more.